Mr. Speaker, that brings me to the forecast for debt and deficit. Now, there are those in this House who've been predicting from that dispatch box in recent weeks that I would have to announce today that the deficit was rising and the borrowing this year would be higher than last year. We discovered today, I'm afraid, not for the first time, that their predictions are wrong. The deficit is falling this year and every year. And not only that, but in the final 4 years of the forecast, borrowing is actually lower than predicted in the budget. The Office for National Statistics have made revisions to the way the national accounts are measured. And Mr. Speaker, one of the advantages of having created an independent OBR is that they've ensured the figures that are presented today are comparable on a like-for-like basis with the forecast that was made in the budget. And on this revised basis, the forecast of the budget would have shown borrowing falling from the 150 billion we inherited to 99.3 billion last year, 86.4 billion this year, 68.3 billion next year, then 41.5 billion, 15.8 billion, and then a small surplus of 3.7 billion in 2018-19. Now that's the budget forecast. Today's forecast shows borrowing falling from 97.5 billion last year to 91.3 billion this year, then 75.9 billion next year, then 40.9 billion, 14.5 billion, and then a surplus of 4 billion in 2018-19. So borrowing falls every year. It falls slightly less than expected in the first 2 years, then falls slightly more than expected in the 4 years after that. So we end in a marginally stronger position than expected of the budget, and I can tell the House that by 2019-20, Britain is now predicted to have a
Order! There is now excessive noise in the chamber. The Chancellor shouldn't have to shout in order to make himself heard, and to some degree he's having to do so at the moment, and that's not right. So please, the House knows the track record. I facilitate the fullest possible questioning of the Chancellor, always have done, always will do. But colleagues, please, must give the Chancellor his head. The Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Yeah. I can tell the House that by 2019-20, Britain is now predicted to have a surplus of £23 billion. Out of the red and into the black for the first time in a generation, a country that inspires confidence around the world because it seeks to live within its means.